We've done a lot. We've just schooled a lot of people. I bet you there are a lot of straight people listening to this like, oh, fuck, I'm gay now. Shit. Like trying to deal with their own queer journey.
You're listening to Fucks Given, the one about queer imposter syndrome.
Hi, Florian.
Hello. Oh my God, it's been so long since we recorded.
It feels really long. Since we've recorded in this format, because the last couple of episodes we were at the Standard Hotel and you were in London, which was amazing.
I was in London. I've been back for over a week now, which is a little bit crazy.
Whoa.
How are you doing today?
I'm actually okay. I thought I was going to be hanging out my ass today, but I'm okay. I feel fucking great.
She got a drip, everyone. She got a drip.
I got a drip. I did like the most bougie rich bitch thing and I got a fucking drip delivered to my house. Like I was lying on my sofa with an intravenous drip of bullshit running through my veins and I feel fucking amazing. Wow. It might be that or also the shrooms I did at the weekend. Could be there too. The afterglow. The shroom afterglow.
Do you ever like with that get moments where you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, wow. You are so beautiful.
Oh my God. No, I haven't had that yet, but I think I'm going to go do a little bit of mirror staring. I normally just like look outside the window. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Wow, what does that say about me? I'm like looking at my own reflection being like, wow, yeah. You're so beautiful.
No. That says a lot of good. It's a lot of good work that you're doing.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Let's put it there.
Definitely. It's about looking at yourself and telling yourself that you are beautiful. That's what we got to do every day, man.
We do. And it is important to tell ourselves that.
And also, I'm a narcissist, so I don't need to look in a mirror.
You're like, I don't even need to do that. I know.
We have exciting updates to tell y'all. Very exciting, especially because this is a queer episode today. And it is Pride Month for anyone who doesn't know, but it's probably been rammed down your very sexy throats already. So yeah, we're just going to jump on it too. Because clearly we're only gay once a month in a whole year. So
only once a month.
Only once.
It all piles into one for some people. Before we do jump into all the Pride-related things, I did have one update that wasn't relevant to Pride, and it is a birthday relevant because it was my birthday last week.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I'm now 32 years old. Basically an old woman.
Oh,
whoa!
That isn't true. That is a joke to anyone out there that is over the age of 32.
That is a joke. I feel very, very young. I feel like a child still, actually.
Yeah, man, I'm like constantly 14. That's very problematic. But yeah, that's just my motherfucking age. Energy of a 14-year-old. Like, yeah, let's go clubbing, let's go raving, let's go. Wait, that's probably more 19.
But yeah, I actually decided to go on a little staycation, although it wasn't really a staycation because it was actually outside of LA, and it was fucking miserable and cloudy the whole time. Yeah. But what I did do is that I invited a man that I had slept with before going away to London.
I'm dying.
Which
do we get a nickname?
Oh, college.
We have a nickname.
College man. Yeah.
Yeah, college man. College
man.
Yeah.
When you go to college, but you're a man. Not a boy. So, yeah, I invited him, and the premise of it was he was basically going to serve me for my birthday because I'm the birthday princess and I get everything that I want on my birthday.
As you should, as it should be.
And what better way than getting a boy to just fucking do whatever you want? And let me tell you, I was fucked to high heavens that whole birthday.
She got fucking served.
Like, when I think about how many times we had sex, I can't even. It must be about 7. Like, it was a lot of times. He stayed for 2 nights.
How's the vagine doing? She okay?
You know what? Like, the birthday gods were looking after me, like out for me. I had like no vaginal health symptoms at all during the whole fuck fest. And then like they have started appearing like the week after, but that's also because I ate like a shit ton of sugar, like because I bought myself a birthday cake and like ate loads of brownies and you know, indulged. I even had an alcoholic beverage.
No, you didn't. I'm shocked.
I did.
Wow.
Yeah,
treating yourself, girl.
I had a mezcal cocktail. It was buff. It made me remember how good tequila is.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck's sake. Why is the good shit always bad for us, man?
Yeah.
But yeah, happy birthday for that. It sounded like a really good birthday.
Yeah. The one notable experience that did happen was the last fuck that we had. I think it was the last one, or maybe the second to last, where it got like very dommy and very rough, and I was so fucking wet I could feel myself practically dripping. And I had told him previously in phone conversations about the fact that I enjoy being hit in the face during sex, and he was doing that, and like it got to a point though where I had to stop him.
It's like, okay, that's too much of a good thing, you know.
It was great. And then suddenly I got into like super, I think like maybe not super subspace, but like some kind of subspace with it all. And because he was like basically fucking me in lazy, wait, what was our sex position called?
Lazy bitch. The lazy
bitch. He was fucking me in the lazy bitch, but then he had like he had his hand around my throat, so he was like pulling my like head
Jesus
up,
fucking
and then using his other hand to fucking slap me hard in the face. And he kept like, I don't know, saying things into my ear about
it's
like,
the whisper,
your pussy's mine, and like all of that crazy stuff. And also the sex kind of started with him being like, would you be able to put some coconut oil on yourself? And he like slipped in so quickly. I wasn't quite like ready for it, but it was like, it got me in those like, oh, okay, you're just like taking me when you want to take me, and like that was fucking
like
hot.
the CNC subby space. To disclaimer this situation, we're not recommending you hit anyone in the face just willy-nilly, even if they say they like it. It's definitely worth having a conversation beforehand and doing it with someone you trust.
Yes, always ask. All of these things, as soon as you start to play with control play, dominance play, BDSM, pain play,
power imbalances,
anything like that has to be a conversation beforehand. And you have to know that, like, you know, you can stop them at whenever, which I did.
Also, because there's a lot of submissives out there that don't want to have that conversation. I don't know if you ever remember talking about this, like, oh, I don't want a man to ask me if I like it or if I want it. I just want him to do it. Like, that is dangerous. That is such a dangerous thing to want to happen to you, because when something does happen to you that does make you question how you feel, then you're not really in a safe space to be like, oh, hold up, not really sure about that. You just kind of have to take it. As much as dominants need to be careful, submissives need to be careful as well, and to look after themselves, even if they think they don't want it. It's extremely important. It's also safe for themselves and safe for the dominant if they push too far.
I also asked for aftercare afterwards. Like, I made sure I was getting what I needed, even though it wasn't properly what I wanted. I realized in that moment that like my aftercare really needed to be like someone fully like loving up on me, and that wasn't our situation. So I did learn something from it. I was like, maybe I shouldn't go like that deep into something with someone that can't really provide me with the aftercare that I this is
such a good realization. Everyone needs aftercare in a different way. Some people need cuddles, some people need like the checkup text 3 days later, some people need to be in a loving relationship to feel comfortable with that, not just having a one night stand. You really need to get to know how you feel, and the only way you can do that is to really explore and see it. And if something comes up that you're not keen on, then you need to discuss it with someone. It doesn't have to be that person, but with someone, with a friend, with like, you know, your therapist, so you can get the aftercare you need. It's exciting. I'm very happy for you and your naughty dommy birthday sex. I mean, already this episode is sounding like the straightest episode.
I've got gay updates, don't worry.
I was going to say, whoa, was that just imposter syndrome right there? Like, this episode isn't gay enough, guys. Like, oh we fucked up. We've ruined Pride Month. That's it. It's over. It's over. I'm throwing in the towel.
I'm sorry I had sex with a man.
Yeah. I'm sorry I love cock so much. Please. Fuck our lives.
I was thinking about this the other day. You know, like a lot of people say, oh, you know, I could never be gay because I don't like pussy.
Yeah.
Did you ever like love dick before like you had to get used to it? I don't like love dick.
I think I did. I think I was obsessed with dick. For sure. But am I obsessed? Okay, I've been thinking about this a lot. Have I been obsessed with dick for different reasons? You know, not because I actually like dick, but because of validation reasons, or because I saw men as the ultimate goal, and to get attention from somebody that owned a penis was like the ultimate form of validation.
Yeah.
It's really hard to know. It's hard to know. I mean, that's what I'm breaking down at the moment in therapy. And I do ask myself this constantly. But yeah, I was obsessed with dick. I thought about dick all the time. I remember watching porn, loving dick. I really did want the penis and balls.
Yeah, when I was in my first relationship, he went down on me all the fucking time. Did I go near his cock? No. I was scared of his cock.
No,
I was like,
fear.
I don't want
There's so
his
much
cock anywhere near me, really. Like, I want it inside me. I wanted to feel what sex felt like with a dick. But I didn't ever think like, tasty dick. Maybe I'm more gay than I thought.
You know what? Maybe the imposter syndrome's like fading away.
I think with me, like, and I also, this is a 100% thing. I only like people's penises if I really like them as a person.
Interesting.
Okay, I don't like
the penis,
people's
the
penises.
genitals come later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. That is very interesting. I was thinking, you know how I love fear? Like, I get off on fear. Maybe I was afraid of the cock, and then therefore that got me off. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who fucking knows? It's so interesting. I love these little hypotheses.
Yeah, so interesting. Whereas, like, the porn that I watched when I was a teenager was lesbian porn.
Yeah, I also watched that, but I I watched gay porn, like man on man porn, for a long time. That's all I masturbated to for years and years and years. But I think that's like why I know I'm pansexual, because I love it all.
Yeah.
I love it all.
You do.
Yes. My updates. Okay, I'm just going to quickly check my phone because I've got like a bit of a list.
Oh.
I've been going through some drama at the moment. Like big wavy drama. I'm going to try and talk about it quite quickly. So I went on a date with somebody and it was a really amazing date. Like, wow, felt all the emotions, felt almost like a little bit crazy, falling for somebody, and was on such a high from this date. And I felt like they felt that too. And then I went and saw one of my best friends who I showed the picture to, and they were like, oh my God, I recognize him. And we figured out that he was somebody that one of my other friends had dated years ago that ended up not having a great end to the relationship. And it all kind of blew up. It was this whole sort of soap opera drama. And in the end, it's a bit unfortunate, really, but we both decided not to see each other anymore.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a shame. That went on. And then also dealing with a lot of ex stuff. So my last relationship ended 5 months ago now. And thinking in my sort of like maybe delusional, happy state, being like really out of a bad relationship, being like, oh yeah, maybe we can be friends. And then having a sort of catch up, thinking it was for closure, and not getting the conversation that I was really hoping for, and actually it turning into something really nasty and really quite triggering. And a lot of therapy has had to be had from those conversations. It's honestly such a shame. It's so devastating, because I want to be friends with my ex. I genuinely thought we would both chat and I would apologise for things and he would apologise for things and we would both take accountability, but it just didn't happen that way. And it ended up being like a really horrible, triggering, difficult conversation to have. And now I'm like, fuck, okay, well, guess we need more time, right? A lot of it is time.
And it is also okay to not be friends with your ex as well.
It's
like,
but
you
I don't want
have
that. Like they.
to.
I know. And you know what? It's not even I don't have to be. Maybe sometimes you shouldn't be. Sometimes it just doesn't work and you can't figure things out and it is just horrible and hurtful for you both. But I just want it to be. I want it to work so well. I'd love to be friends with all of my exes. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes I can't get everything that I want, unfortunately, and I have to eat that. I have to live with that and just
fucking eat it.
Yeah.
But you never know,
it.
like
Radical
in
acceptance.
a year's time or 2 years' time, he might have changed how he feels about things. And
I really hope so, because we learn different things, right? You know, that in new relationships that we have, we realise like, oh, I should have done that differently in my past relationship. That's how it's been with the wonderful ex Thomas. Like we still chat, we still are on a really nice friendly basis, and we're still apologising to each other about the way we were back then, and that's perfect. We take accountability. There's no finger pointing or blame. So yeah, maybe time will tell.
Yes.
And that I'm quite excited for. I just need to like let it go and just, you know, it is what it is. And that's a shame, and maybe time will heal. But weirdly, so I went on a date with somebody who was really lovely. I had a really lovely date with them. We went to the Dali exhibition. That was really cool. And it was so bizarre. One of my exes from 10 years ago, who I was like we were both madly in love with each other. As I sat down with my date, I saw my ex of 10 years ago, who again blocked me on everything, never spoke to me again, get up with another girl and walk away. We both like locked eyes, and I was like, oh, Jesus, what is happening at the moment? And because I felt like he had blocked me and not reached out or not responded to any of my messages, I felt like I shouldn't approach. I was like, if he wants to approach me, that's fine. But because he didn't, I was like, no, I think it's a good idea if I don't. And I just sort of left that there. But you know, when you're on like a new date and that was just a bit of like a whoa
that's
moment.
That's a really
like,
weird thing to happen, especially if you haven't seen him for like fucking years. And then when you're on this date, you see an ex.
Yeah.
That's so awkward. That's like the fear that most people have like on dates, like that they will bump into an ex.
Yes. Well, it is a shame, because I feel like I'd love to be able to talk to him and sort of figure out what happened. And that's why I think closure and having those conversations with exes are really important, because it helps you learn better for the future, helps you learn to be a better person or a better partner. Yeah. And I would love to know like what went wrong and how I can do things better and learn from those mistakes.
In this respect though, like it is about you, and you need to think more about how they feel.
Yeah, and it's also not their responsibility to make me feel comfortable about a situation. I need to put that work in. I need to do that for myself. I can't expect them to. But yeah, this date ended up going really well. So the reason why I'm bringing it up, because he made a confession. He messaged me and was like, I listened to your latest episode of the podcast and I just wanted to check in because one of the stories was that about me and is everything okay? I didn't... the message he sent was so lovely, and it was like it was me talking about the Dom situation, the Dom experience I had, where I didn't really enjoy the experience, and he was so nice to message me and be like, I just want to check in and see if that was me, and if it was, like, can we talk about it and can I do anything to make it better? And I was like, all right, there's a fucking giant green flag floating around here, like that's amazing that he went in and like, took accountability and checked in and was ready to have a conversation about it. This is why, he gets a giant green tick from me.
I also kind of love it when people do listen to the podcast.
Right?
And are,
I love that.
Fully supportive of what we do, but like maybe, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one.
Okay, so it's complicated because when you find out they've listened to the podcast, it's like, oh, you know so much about me. You almost know every deep, dark detail that a normal person wouldn't know. Yeah. So there is a bit of a power imbalance there of like, you know so much about me, I know nothing about you.
Yes.
But
very true.
I would rather someone came clean immediately and spoke about that they listen to the podcast, that they know who I am. So I'm already on that even playing field.
Yes.
There are definitely people that I've dated, maybe exes, where they have definitely known who I am and they haven't mentioned it at all. It's almost like they've used it as a bit of like a one-up, as like, oh, but I know you're going to be into this. I don't know. The whole thing's like really fucking weird.
Oh, I don't like that.
The dishonesty there, yeah, don't like that at all.
Yeah, because if you think about it, someone could fully manipulate us with the information that we spill on this podcast.
Yeah. They might not be exactly who we want, or maybe they're homophobic and they're not actually into kink, but they're saying all this stuff because they just want to fuck.
Yeah,
they're
they know.
I know you're into all that stuff. Yes. So yeah. Anyway, I had a really nice date with this person, and yeah, like really, I'm really into fingering at the moment. Like fingering is so good. Yeah. This person a good finger game.
Nice.
And I don't know what's happened to me, Florence. Like I'm not complaining. I'm very, very grateful. But my G-spot kink has unlocked, and it is like non-stop now. And I think that's because maybe I've practiced a lot at G-spot orgasms, and it's taken me years and years and years to recognize how different a G-spot orgasm feels to a clitoral orgasm.
Yeah.
And now that I feel really confident knowing what it feels like, honestly, I can just keep coming and coming and coming. The clitoral one is almost like a myth now. It's like that barely happens. But the G-spot is like fucking constant, with fingers, with dick, with toys, with like everything. I'm like, you know, you've mentioned before where if you have penetrative sex, sometimes like it'll be 5 pumps and you've come and you're like, whoa,
yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from?
You know what though?
It's a bit like that.
How weird is that the college man, the first time we fucked, that's what the situation was, and I was just like, whoa, like what the fuck's happening? I'm coming. This time I got in my head so much because I was expecting to be able to come so easily that it didn't happen. But also I also just got my Hitachi wand vibrator, and maybe I've just fucking desensitized.
You've just fallen in love with the wand. It's like your brain isn't working hard to really focus on the G-spot. It's just like, well, I'm going to have a clitoral.
Yeah, so the G-spot just might have happened like once or twice with the 7 fucking sessions.
Yeah, and clitoral ones are so hard to get in partnered sex. They take a lot of concentration. And also, you know, anyone out there listening and they haven't managed to find their G-spot or get a G-spot orgasm, I've never been able to find my G-spot myself, maybe a couple times with a toy, but it's really hard to do. I also think age plays a huge part in G-spot orgasms. G-spot orgasms only happen when you're fully able to let go and feel everything. Otherwise, if you are in your head, you're not really connected to your body and thinking about the sensations.
I don't know about that. I had a lot of G-spot orgasms when I was 18.
Really?
Like consistent G-spot orgasms. But I think it's because I didn't have anything in my head at all about it not being a thing in the first place.
Really?
So like every single time me and my partner fucked, the one that I was with for 2 years, from 18 to 19 or 17 to 19. Every time we fucked, G-spot orgasm. Every single time.
So it's not about age, it's about what's going on in your head, how focused you are, or how you know in your head you are, or how released you are, the relaxation of it. That's why I have G-spot orgasms when I'm hungover, because I'm just like, oh, okay, fuck it, whatever, like there's no room to think, you know.
I used to be so relaxed during those sex sessions that I would be basically like hallucinating that I was in a fucking jungle in my head. Whoa, like I would be in a different place. I wouldn't be there. I would be like fully, just in my body. Like, you know, when you have high sex and you just start having all these like crazy like mad images thoughts and stuff like that. Like that's what my sex was like when I was 18.
Whoa. So what happened? Did the world harden us? Fucking hell.
Yeah, well, I know that I left that relationship because I wanted to explore sex with other people.
Yeah.
And then when I explored it with other people, it was different. Their dicks were different sizes. Like things were like not really what I thought they were going to be. And it fucking hardened me because I think I just that's when I got addicted to sex. So
Yeah, fuck's sake. The sex addiction. Why is it so good? Why? Kind of rolling on one more update, which is more along the same vein as this episode.
Yes.
I was hanging out at London Feels Lido and was making eyes at this dude that was really cute. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna chat to him at some point. I've made a rule for myself. If ever I see a fit person, I have to go up and say hello. And see if they're interested. That's the rule. Otherwise, I just kick myself later. Like, fuck, why didn't I do that? Anyway, so we were in the pool and I noticed that he was going in the changing rooms to leave. I was like, no, he's going to leave. So ended up hanging around, a bit of a creep, hanging around the end of the pool waiting for him to come back out.
Fucking hell, Reed.
How else are you supposed to do it? I was asking my friend, I was like, is this fucking creepy? Like, if I was a dude waiting for a girl to come out of a change room, would that be okay? Would that not be okay? No. I came to the conclusion that I'm not a creep and the way I hit on people isn't creepy. You know, it's very respectful. So he came out and I was like, hey, excuse me, hi. You're very attractive. Are you single? That is like my pickup line at the moment. And he was like, oh my God, that's honestly so lovely of you. Thank you. But yeah, I'm actually engaged. I'm not single. And I was like, no way. No worries. Congratulations. And then I was like, any chance you're ethically non-monogamous? And he was like, yeah, we actually are. And I was like, whoa, no way, let's go. And I didn't have my phone because I was in the pool. So I was like, do you mind taking my number? And he took down my number and we had like a little chat. And I was like, yeah, let's like chat more. Anyway, they sent the cutest message and like the hottest picture of them both. And I'm going to go for a drink with them either Thursday
cute.
or at some point. So yeah, very excited. She is also gorgeous, really, really gorgeous couple. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, baby.
Nice. Picking people up at the Lido, are we?
I know, at the Lido. I love that. So good.
That's so London.
Right. London Feels Lido, darling. Sunbathing on Friday.
Fuck's sake. That's so exciting though. I'm happy for you. Living your poly life fantasy over here.
Yes. And literally the night before I went to an ENM, ethical non-monogamy poly meetup in Lewisham from the ENM fam that organised it. And it was so nice being surrounded by people that actually were into ethical non-monogamy. It was honestly so refreshing. I was so excited and just had like such a nice time being in that space. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go to more poly ENM nights and just like be with like-minded people that kind of like get it and understand.
Yes, I think that's so important because it's so easy if all your friends are like monogamous or, you know, not kinky or, you know, not queer in any way. Like it is really hard and quite isolating to exist.
Yeah, because people don't know how to listen and validate your conversations. Like it's really hard to do that. So if you say, oh yeah, like I really want to date a boyfriend and then date a girlfriend, date another boyfriend, people are like, oh my God, I could never do that. I never have enough time. And I'm like, but I do have enough time and you've just invalidated how I feel, you know? You're right, it's really isolating. That's why it's important, you know, if you're kinky, if you're queer, if you're poly, find your community, find your physical community or online community. And it does make you feel better about who you are. It makes you feel less alone and like you're not a fucking freak.
On that note, we should plug the Facebook group because we've got our own little sex positive community that we have created. We've got over 1,200 members in our little Facebook group. That link will be in the description.
And they are all verified as well. And some of them get together and go to sex parties together. So if you're looking for other friends to go to events too, then yeah, please put yourself out there and make new friends. Curious Fuckers Club forever.
Yeah, yay. I have one final update that is actually to do with this week's episode. Pride.
Oh my God, finally we're getting to the good stuff. Yes, the imposter syndrome. I feel it shrinking.
So I had the privilege of going to Dyke Day on Saturday in LA. which is fantastical. Like, I never knew that this existed, even because I think in the UK, we've just got kind of like pride celebrations. And I think what we find with a lot of gay spaces is that they are dominated by gay men.
Yes.
And I mean, that's kind of the same with everything when we talk about being gay, is that automatically you think of men, automatically it's about like a male space. Women, yet again, are kind of forgotten. And I think this happens a lot with lesbians. So I thought it was so amazing and fantastic that there was Dyke Day in LA.
Yeah.
And this was basically a huge picnic of like an orgy, like obviously not a real orgy. It was
I was going to say,
but, like,
hello.
I have never seen so many lesbians in my life. I didn't know this many queer women and non-binary people existed. It was fucking incredible. And to start off the day, my friend Sam invited us to a little Dyke Day brunch where all of her amazing gay friends had brunch, ate bagels, sat, chatted, petted dogs. There were a lot of dogs at Dyke Day, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
They even had a little puppy parade.
Stop. That's so cute. Booby parade.
Yeah. And it was just fantastic. And then the whole Dyke Day celebration, was just like, think of a park, but like every single inch of the grass was taken up by a woman or a non-binary person.
Love.
Like picnic blankets, tents, people having barbecues, like roasting like burgers. And then you had like the kink tent, like kind of towards the side of the event, and in the kink tent they had like different activities going on all day, and I managed to catch a arm wrestling tournament, which was very entertaining.
Wow.
And they had the notorious boot blacker doing the event. And if you don't know what boot blacking is, it's this amazing queer historical thing. Think back to the times where it wasn't okay to be gay and you had to kind of find little ways of exploring your gayness, and a lot of people did it through getting their boots polished and having kind of erotic, suggestive boot blacking experiences.
Wow, that's so cool. There's so many like little code words, like flagging, where you can put all of the flags out of your pocket, all of the colours. The handkerchiefs, showing what kind of queer you are and what you're into and what you're not into. So cool. Yeah,
very, very cool. So the boot blacking is a really cool thing. I actually got to do that at a lesbian cruising party I went to a couple of months ago. And
what happens? Do they actually polish your shoes?
Yes. Because, leather culture is, like, obviously really big in the queer scene. Yes. So, basically, the boot blacker will polish any leather you have, whether that's, like, leather chaps, a leather jacket, boots. So, I was wearing my Docs as you do as a fucking Brit, to the party. And, so she, like, takes the laces out and she's like, I don't know, everything was, like, suggestive. It was, like, such a hot experience.
Really?
And she'd be like, she'd ask you to like move your legs, like spread your legs, and like she like tucked the laces underneath your thigh, but like in a way that's just like, it's like not sexual, but it is sexual.
It is. Yeah. It's like fucking Bridgerton, man. Like
literally Bridgerton
where it's
vibes.
all just like mad suggestive, mad romance, like just on the cusp of being really horny. And you're just like, it must drive you insane.
And she was completely like daddy, like, really like worshipping you and like taking care of you and like massaging your like leather shoes. I mean, you would fucking love it because it's like basically like a bit of a foot massage, like but over your shoe. Very strange experience. She cuts all like the loose threads off your shoe, like makes sure like the shoes are fucking spotless. And at the end, she's like, oh, where did I put the laces? And you're like, oh, and then you like spread your legs without even really thinking about it. And she's like, oh yeah. And then she takes the laces with her mouth.
Stop! Well, I'm dying right now.
Yeah. So like leans down into your crotch. So very, very cool. So that's a little bit of gay history there for you.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend
daddy.
people getting a boob blacking experience.
That sounds incredible. Did you meet anyone amazing at Dyke Day?
Oh my God, there were so many hot people there. It was crazy. But you know what's really awkward is that I had matched with a couple of people, a couple of women on Hinge, and they were both there, and I saw one of them whilst I was in the dance area, and I was like, I had only really exchanged a couple of words with her, and I was like, she gave me her number and told me that she was going to be there, so I should have gone up and said something to her, but there was someone else that I had been talking to more, and I was like, I want to see that girl instead of her, and I was like, I don't want to give my time to this person when I actually want to spend time with this amazing woman. But I was so shy throughout the whole day, and I think she was as well, that like I only managed to like reach out and be like, okay, I'm actually gonna go find you now, like just when everything was packing up.
Of course.
Yeah, I sent her a text just being like, okay, so where actually are you? And I went to go and find her, and we found each other, and we had like the cutest, most awkward little like chat because all my friends were leaving, everyone else was leaving. So it was like this weird like, I don't know what to do. Like, should I like, do I need to order my Uber? Do I need to like go to see where my friends are going? But we ended up just having this cute chat that had like a lot of like coyness and like cute smiles, and it was really nice. It was awkward but in like an endearing way, and I came at it definitely with that like schoolgirl needy energy where I'm you
feel like a schoolgirl, you feel like so lost and like over nervous and over excited, and like you're a teen again, like trying to kiss boys, and it's just because we know what to do with boys, but when it comes to girls, it's a whole new thing. It can be really, really daunting. Yeah,
it's so scary, but like very exciting at the same time. But we have a date on Tuesday, so I'm very excited about that. And she also texted me after I bumped into her saying that she thought I was really cute. So
I love it. It's so cute.
I know. And I also got another text from her later in the day just saying that she thought about kissing me. I was like, oh my God.
It's the Bridgerton moment. You thought about it?
yeah.
So close, so far.
So close, yet so far away.
We're so predictable, I swear. Yeah. That's so lovely, though. Did you feel... How did you feel being at the event in regards to imposter syndrome? Did you feel like leaving the event like, yeah, I feel really good about this? Or were there moments of like, fuck?
No, I think the event was really sexuality affirming.
That's good.
It was really interesting. It was so body positive as well. Like the queer scene is so fucking amazing when it comes to just accepting the way that, you know, like everyone's bodies are like amazing and beautiful. Wear whatever the fuck you want. And like, I think it was a really empowering situation, because also like, it was interesting to see like, yeah, I'm not attracted to that kind of woman, but I am really attracted to that woman. And like, you know, because there were so many gay women there that it was like, okay, like you could learn more about your own sexuality from just being there, which was really interesting. So I think I left with less imposter syndrome than before.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think at the beginning at the brunch day, because I'm like, I'm not fully gay, I'm only half gay.
I'm a fake gay. Also, who is it? I was speaking to Ruby Rare about talking about queerness and using the term gay, because we aren't gay. And she mentioned something about, I don't know how I feel about using the term gay when I'm not gay. Are we taking away from people who are actually gay because we're using that term gay. And that did really make me stop and think. So if there's anyone out there that's listening to this going, you can't use the term gay because you're not gay, we don't mean it in an offensive way or that we're trying to take the word away. It's just, it's part of the queerness for us. It really helps. It helps me to relate, because I see myself as that part of me. It's like, that's the gay me. That's the bit that is really excited about other genders.
I've definitely been talking to my friends on that day, and I think they would describe me as gay, even though they know I'm bi.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it's more like a community thing. Like, if you're a little bit gay, like, everyone's gay. Like, jump in. We're all in the same LGBTQAI boat. We're all in the same queer boat. Like, let's all love each other. I hope that's how people see it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one as well, isn't it? Because gay fundamentally means male gay.
Yeah.
And not lesbians. So it is this kind of, I guess it's more of, when we use it in that way, it's more of like a general term, like queerness. Mm-hmm. But I do understand where you're coming from though as well. It does make sense.
It did make me stop and think. I was like, wow, I've always said it like that. But I guess it's good to think about these things, and you kind of just have to take what you feel responds to your identity. Like, queer doesn't really work for me. Bi doesn't really work for me. Pan works for me, and also gay works for me. So maybe it's just about owning that part. Is that also the imposter syndrome, like creeping in like a motherfucking gremlin?
Curious fuckers, I'm so excited to say that my book is now for sale. You can buy it. This book will make you feel something.
I would highly recommend this book for anybody who wants to feel themselves, read the erotic stories, and it has an estimated time of reading, so you can do it on the go or have a little quickie.
It's all about reconnecting with your body. So if you've been feeling a little bit detached, or you just want to get more horny and learn more about your own masturbation and enhance your pleasure, this book is for you. 25 tips and techniques to get inside your body in loads of different ways, in ways that feel good, and 25 short erotic stories. You can buy my book on Amazon. It's in audio too. So if you love podcasts, you're probably going to love the audiobook. So get that over on Audible. You can also buy it on Waterstones, and there are probably other places you can buy it, but just go search for it, and I would greatly appreciate your purchase.
Plus, leave a review.
And please leave a review, because that actually means so much. My publishers were like, you need 50 reviews to get into a good algorithm on Amazon. So yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you. This is probably quite a good point to talk about bi and pansexual privilege as well, because we haven't had to hear those words in a negative way. And for the first time ever, I experienced that on Saturday when everyone was leaving the park. A car drove past, rolled down its windows, and shouted, trigger word, the F word,
Jesus.
Shouted faggots at everyone, like repeatedly, and like I don't know what he was saying. I didn't actually, I tried not to listen.
There's no
too
point
hard,
checking in,
but
no, otherwise it's horrible.
It made me think. I was like, wow, I've never had to experience that before. And that is a fucking privilege that I have as being a bisexual person and being very straight facing for most of my life.
Yes. Yeah. On top of which we're white, on top of which there's pretty privilege. There is also other privilege. There's a lot there. We are not a minority. And when it comes to queerness and bisexuality, pansexuality, there is a lot less negativity than when you are actually lesbian or gay or trans or non-binary. We are coming from a position of having better experiences. It's really tough for a lot of people out there. I also think that does hugely feed into part of the imposter syndrome, where it's like you said, straight facing, or like I could have gone under the covers and be undetected with my queerness for so long, especially at school. I mean, I still got bullied for not being fully straight. I still, I don't know if you experienced this. I experienced a lot of biphobia growing up at school, especially in an all-girls school where everything was so obsessed about boys. And my the first ever love of my life was a woman, was a girl. Her name's Rosie. She's lovely. And we had boyfriends at the time, and I remember us sneaking off when we were all camping together to go and kiss, like in secret. I don't recommend doing that now because that's basically cheating on your partners. Like that is not, no point. That is not okay. And I'm sure our partners would have been cool with it if we had spoken to them at the time. But the fact that that was like definitely feeling that feeling towards another girl is really hard to detect. I think I pushed my bisexuality and pansexuality so deep that I was in love with women for years until I realized that I was actually in love with them. I just thought I really wanted to be friends, and I was just a bit obsessed with them, and like, I don't understand why I just want to hang out with them all the time. And then later on I'm like, oh yeah, I must have been in love with them. It was just such a different feeling to what I was used to with dudes. Like, that raw sexual attraction is what I thought love was, when actually no, love can come in so many different forms, and you can fall for someone in a platonic way and be in love with them. Like, I would say that I'm in love with you in a platonic way, or fall in love with somebody in a romantic way, and that sneaks up on you. You don't recognize it. I only thought that love was just all sexual until recently, and I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. I think it's just hard when we've grown up in such a fucking heteronormative way.
Yes.
And like, I think for myself, I was just, everything was romanticized about men and like, you know, getting married. And I wanted a very traditional life up until I was, 27. Like, I fully wanted like what I thought was supposed to be my life, and only up until my late 20s did I start actually figuring out who I was underneath the social learning. And I think every day I'm picking that apart. I think it was really interesting growing up in Brighton, which is obviously the gay capital of the UK.
Yes.
And I think for me, I never felt gay enough. And I felt like because I liked boys like a little bit, that there was like absolutely no way that I could be into women. So when I did explore with my female friends, I felt this massive like internal homophobia on myself and just so much shame after like fooling around with her and like, what would people think? Like, what does this mean for me? Like, so internally confused because our relationship changed from being friends to being sexual without getting like that intimate. But our relationship after we fooled around as well definitely changed, because there was this like underlying thing that we had done together, and I couldn't get over the internalized homophobia. And I was like, how on earth did I have this?
Where
growing
did it come
up
from?
In Brighton,
right,
where it was so okay to be gay. And yet I still felt like I couldn't. But I also didn't have any gay friends. And I think there was only in my school, I just remember there being like one gay kid. And
one out kid that was really aggressive, and that almost pushed you away from wanting to be gay or wanting to be lesbian or exploring that, because they had to be so aggressive to feel like they were, that they were right in coming out. And I don't know if you had the same thing, but I remember if there was somebody who came out as queer, it would be like, such an aggressive way of doing it, because they had to speak louder than everyone else to be heard and to actually be validated. And I completely understand that.
I'm just shocked at how little gay people there were in my school. Obviously there were a lot of us, but I just they weren't out. And like, I don't know how that was a thing in Brighton. And I think maybe it was that whole, like, you really need to know this for sure. Like, it can't just be like an inkling or a feeling or like something that you want to experiment with. Like, it just seemed like people that were gay knew 100% that they were gay, and they like, and being bi is just so fucking confusing, because you're like, I'm sexually attracted to you, you're turning me on, but you're turning me on, and like, what does this mean?
I wanted to mention the sort of the differences between bisexuality and pansexuality, because that can be really confusing. There's not a hell of a lot of difference. Bisexuality is being attracted to 2 or more genders, and pansexuality is being attracted to all genders.
Yeah.
So that they are very, very similar. It's kind of just what you identify with. If maybe you're attracted to a few genders, but not all of them, then that would probably most likely fit into bisexual. Or if you are only attracted to, let's say, cis men and cis women, bisexual. But if, honestly, when it comes down to things, it is just about personality and who they are as a person, and gender doesn't come into it, then pansexuality might fit more. When I learnt about pansexuality, I was like, oh my God, that's me. I know that's me. Because, you know, having a fetish as well, I think that really helped validate my sexuality, because when it comes to what sexually turns me on around the fetish, it really didn't matter who was doing it, whether or not it was even like a person or an alien or like a machine or anything like that. And pansexuality just fit more into that category, regardless of whoever was doing it. I mean, Deadpool is pansexual, and I was like, okay, there we go. But I still get the imposter syndrome of, but I've never had a girlfriend, or I've never kissed or dated somebody that is of another gender other than male or female. And then that makes me think, God, I'm not pan enough. I'm letting the team down. How can I know that I'm pansexual if I've not actually met all the genders out there? But what I came to the conclusion of was, it makes no difference who you've been physical with, who you've kissed. It is all about the attraction that's within your mind. It's got nothing to do with your physical body, nothing to do with the real world. It is what you are attracted to. So you might have never kissed another boy, let's say, but you can still be attracted to them. You can still masturbate over them. You can still think about them in a romantic way.
Yeah.
That means that you are still on the queer spectrum, because it's not about what you've done physically. I mean, I always get myself caught up with that.
Something that really validated me in that respect was my friend sent me the Lesbian Manifesto, and I think you can find it online. I don't know where she got it from, but she sent it directly to me. But it's basically this document. It's like a really simple document that goes through kind of all the things or reasons or like things that could make you lesbian. And when I read that, it just made so many things make sense, and I related to so many things on that list. So I think, you know, if you are sitting out there sort of questioning your sexuality, it's actually, it could be like a good place to kind of get that validation as well, because you're like, this is literally how everyone's felt because of growing up with a very heteronormative society.
Right? It's been shoved down our faces that it was only men and women, women and men. There was no other relationship style or queerness involved. Actually, being queer was like the taboo thing. It was like, oh my God, it was like so shocking at school, or the idea of having to come out to your fucking parents is a joke, you know? Like, it shouldn't be like that. It should just be part of the growing up conversation, not like a sit down chat.
Exactly. It's too scary. Why would you have to have a conversation with your parents and say, these are the people I want to have sex with? Why do you need to have that conversation with them? It shouldn't matter. I think for me that was something that I would never have even dreamed of ever doing, being like a shy girl as I am. Talking to my parents is fucking hard. And when I did mention to my mum that I was going to start dating women, which was only last year that I told her, she didn't react in like the best way. She was just really fucking confused. And I was like,
It can be really confusing, but also I understand for a lot of people that coming out is a real changing point in people's sexualities to really accept themselves.
Yeah.
So I understand if you want to come out to your parents, if you want to come out to your friends and colleagues, then fucking do it, because it can be such a relief if you've never spoken about being attracted to the same or other genders.
Yeah.
I was really lucky growing up in my house because my mum and dad made it very, very clear that it didn't matter who I was attracted to. It was just like, it was just part of the conversation. We would be watching TV and I'd be like, oh yeah, he's fit. Oh my God, she's really fit. And it was just so okay. And I think I remember really clearly my mum did state, you know, it doesn't, like, I will love you either way, no matter who you're attracted to. And that was
That's
like really
so
validating.
nice.
But a lot of people don't get that. And I rate my parents for saying that, because it did just take away that initial fear of like, I don't know what they're going to say, especially if you have parents or family members that do say homophobic things. I mean, I still have fucking family members that say fucking homophobic things anyway, but don't we all? But that's not going to stop me from having that part of the conversation and being fully me. I think it's important to be yourself, and if somebody else has a problem with it, that's not on you. You're just being yourself. It is their issue that they need to figure out. It's not even worth an argument. Be like, okay, you're entitled to your own opinion, and just like leave them at that. You don't need to try and convince them otherwise it's exhausting.
A lot of my imposter syndrome when I was younger came from my sister and her friend, who was definitely like a little gay boy, and I think coming from him, maybe it also affected me in a bigger way, where they teased me and said, you know, Florence is going to start dating a girl just to be cool.
Yes.
And it internalized
I heard that all the time.
In my mind, I was like, oh, so if I like women, I'm doing it just to be cool. Because I was a child that did things to be different, to be edgy. Like I was emo. Like I always wanted to be the different one at school and very alternative. So I kind of thought, oh, like, and now I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be seen as doing it just to be cool.
And then you repress it and push it down deeper, and it just creates more internalized homophobia. Yeah. I heard that phrase all the time, like, oh, everyone's being bisexual now. And it's like, yeah, that's fucking great. Like, let them explore their bisexuality, because if they explore their bisexuality, if they are bi-curious, they're either going to realise they are or they're not, and come back to either being straight or bi or pan or whatever sexuality they want. It's just, that is for sure one of the most like homophobic, biphobic terms. Like, just doing it to be cool. Like, what a way to try and be fucking cool. Like, come on, everyone's allowed to explore and experiment. That's half the joy of being human and alive. You're allowed to fucking dip into the kink scene and realise it's not your thing and come back out. That's okay. Very, very frustrating. I feel your pain there. It really does build a wall up inside you, and you're just But I also think that we grew up in a time where it was still quite unacceptable to be anything other than straight. I think it is a little bit easier now. I'm not saying it's easy now, but I think that there is way more acceptance. Even just in the sex education we get, they are talking about queerness and LGBTQ situations, and like they are opening up the sex conversation around same sex. Thank the good fucking Lord, because all we learned was penis and vagina, and that was like it. Of course we're gonna think that anything else is weird. Sorry, went off on one there.
Yeah, we just went on like the biggest rant by imposter syndrome in the world.
Yeah, and I'm not important. A fucking angel. I've thought those thoughts before. I remember confronting someone at university, a man, one of our friends, and being like, you're probably not bisexual. You're probably just one way or another and just experimenting. And I a few years later, I went back and I apologized to him, and I was just like, I'm so sorry. I didn't really realize what I was saying. And he took it so well. He was so lovely about it. But we've all had those thoughts.
100%. I'll put my hands up to really bullying one of my friends by using Dyke in a very bad way, in a negative way. And to this day, like a lot of my friends here use the word dyke quite a lot, and obviously Dyke Day and all of that. And it's taken me quite a while to like feel comfortable with hearing that word, feeling that word as a positive thing, because as a kid, I think probably because I was ashamed or embarrassed of my own sexuality, used it. And it's always the way. It's always the people that are using these words as negative things that are gay themselves.
Yeah. Oh,
I used it as a word to bully my friend, and I'm like, why the fuck did I do that?
I feel you there. That the time when gay came out as like a derogative, like, oh, that's lame. Oh, like you're a loser. You're gay. Like that's so gay. And I just remember my stepmom being so upset and angry about it. And I was like, but wait, like that's fine. I'm not homophobic. It's just part of the language. And I regret saying it like that. I still use it occasionally because I think it's a funny throwback, but you have to be so fucking careful about the terms that you use in the situations that you're in, because someone might hear it and be upset and offended. Someone might hear it and think, oh, that's okay to say again. So when you are talking about gayness and queerness, you just have to make sure that you're with the right people that understand where your sexuality is, and check in with people like, oh, do you mind if I say that? Does that sound okay to you? And really fucking respect them if they say, yeah, actually I don't like that word, it is still really triggering for me.
And I think we've spoken a lot about imposter syndrome with bisexuality and pansexuality, but you can feel imposter syndrome for any sexuality, whether that's being
even
gay,
straight,
lesbian.
even being straight. When I was working in the porn industry, I remember there was so much, I was so angry about this. There was a particular performer who did a lot of gay porn. He was cis male, and he is huge in the porn scene at the moment, does big porn films. And back when he started, he did a lot of gay films and had a lot of dudes sucking his cock. And the amount of bullying that happened on the studio floor, being like, yeah, well, he's done gay porn, he's obviously not straight. That really fucked me off. I was still like so confused. I was like, you can still have someone suck your cock and still be straight. You could literally go through your whole goddamn life, only ever kiss the opposite gender, and still be 100% fully gay. Like, there are so many people out there that
you can be doing it and not feel turned on at all.
Yeah, like, switch it off. Like, think about something else. It doesn't change the attraction that you have on the inside. It doesn't change what you're attracted to. There's also different types of attraction, as we said, sexual, romantic. Sometimes it's really hard to detect.
The mind is such a clever thing. Like, you could be fully gay and be in relationships with men for most of your life and still be enjoying the time that you're spending with men, but still be gay.
Yeah, or I'm sure you've heard this, where it's a man who says he's straight and yet he's quite camp, so everyone's like, nah, you're definitely not straight, you're camp. Like, you're so effeminate. And he's like, they're like, no, I'm pretty sure I just fancy women, And we do that all the time. And there's imposter syndrome for being straight too, because everyone fucking loves to judge and tell people how they feel, even though it's impossible to fucking do that.
I mean, I'm definitely of the opinion that everyone's a little bit queer. I think as human beings, like, it's just not in our nature to be to be straightforward. Like, our gender and our sexuality is so fluid, and it can change with, like, as every day, let alone like every year of our life.
Every person that you meet, you could be, oh yes, I'm 100% straight, and it might just be that you haven't met or seen the person that has made you attracted to them. You might never have come across that. I do think, what do you think about this statement? Is it a warning flag when someone writes on their dating profile, I'm 100% straight?
Ooh, yeah, that's a massive red flag. Why would you even put that? Why would you even put that?
When some people say the same gender repulses them thinking about doing sexual stuff, I feel like if you're coming from a place of fear that's something to be listened to. If you're coming from a place of love, like, oh my God, I love men, but no, I could never see myself be romantic or sexual with them. But when it's a repulsion, when it's like the fear, it's like, oh, where's that fear come from?
It's interesting because I've spoken to a couple of male friends recently about like bisexuality on their side, and quite a few of them like, yeah, I wish I was fucking bisexual because like I do find men really attractive, but when I think about like sucking their dick or whatever, like I just don't want to do that. And like you know, I'm like, unfortunately I'm straight, and like I really love the way that they talk about that because it's like it's so accepting of queerness, but that's also very accepting of themselves and where they're at that point. But you're right, like if you're coming at it like, oh my God, like that's fucking gross, man. It's like
think about
it, like how I feel about anal sex.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like how many of us have sat there going like, oh no, feet are gross, I would never suck a toe, I would never let somebody else suck my toe, and then what do you know, 10 years later and they're fucking creaming over it like It comes from a place of fear for a reason.
Yeah, fear turns us on.
Yeah, we fucking love it. Stop shying away from the fear. Just like let go and enjoy the feet sucking and cock sucking and pussy eating, guys. Come on.
Yeah. And I really do I back my idea on everyone's genitals are confusing, and we were taught not to think genitals were attractive.
Yes.
We weren't ever taught that this was a beautiful thing to look at and to eat and touch and all of those things. We were taught that these parts of our bodies were shameful. That is where this comes from. So that when we see other people's genitals and think, oh no, I really love women, but I can never eat pussy because I couldn't be down there. But that I just feel like that comes from a place of not unlearning. You just need to unlearn the things that you thought about pussy, because actually it's just about pleasuring another human being.
Yeah, you're so fucking right. I mean, we were taught to be afraid of genitalia, of the STIs and the pregnancy and blue waffle, if that fucking, remember that thing that came out? It fucking blue waffle was a really bad meme, viral image that went around the internet, and it was obviously of someone's vulva that had caught some kind of infection that hadn't sorted it out. So blue waffle was basically the most graphic medical picture you can possibly imagine of somebody's infected vulva. Yeah. And that everyone showed everyone that. And on top of which we're learning about different genitalia. We're learning about foreskin and flaps and all the different types. We're releasing that shame. But back then it was all stay away, it's evil, discharge, no, sperm god.
The first day that I looked at my own vagina, I was what the fuck is
terrifying.
This? It looks like an alien. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And the only thing that told us that genitalia was sexy was porn, which was problematic, and it was only ever big, beautiful dicks and perfect surgery manipulated vulvas. And that was it. That's the only thing that was attractive. And we need to unlearn that stuff. All genitalia are gorgeous and beautiful. Even flaccid penis. I love flaccid penis. I love testicles. We have to just love it all in one big giant pleasurable mess.
Exactly.
I'm really, really horny now, so.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is a good place to wrap up the episode, because my brain literally feels light from the amount of emphasis and thought and brain power put into this episode. So I feel like we've just fully queer word vomited for the last hour or something.
We've done a lot. We've just schooled a lot of people. I bet you there are a lot of straight people listening to this oh fuck, I'm gay now. Shit. like trying to deal with their own queer journey. Like, please, if you feel this way, go onto our Facebook group and please, like, write your story. I don't know if the anonymous function is working at the moment, but if it is, write your story. You know, I've already had a couple people, 2 people, message me from that reel I put up about bi and pan imposter syndrome. 2 people that were like, you've really helped me feel better about my own sexuality, and like now I feel, and it's just like it can be life-changing as long as you're listening and following the right people. And it's also okay to be straight as well. We've talked a lot about being queer here, but straight is beautiful. It's just as valid as being queer, but we need to give queer people more space to thrive, because it has just been a fucking straight parade for most of our lives. You know, be an ally, support, help talk to your friends about their queerness.
And also, like, the world isn't really in our favor as queer people as well. So, like, it's so important to have these conversations, to open as many eyes as possible, because, you know, what's happening in Florida. And obviously there are other countries around the world where it is fully illegal to be gay still. So it's never been so important to be talking about queer issues. So if this episode touched you in any way, please share it with someone that you know will need to hear this conversation.
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone should hear this conversation. And of course, if you can, screenshot the episode, post it on stories, talk about it on Twitter, get it into more people's ears, and just like spread the good word, you know? Oh, that sounded a bit like Bible-y. Or spread your legs. Whoa, baby. And, you know, fuck conversion therapy, that can suck a massive dick.
Yes. And also review and rate our podcast if you can. It would mean a lot. Leaving reviews is brilliant.
It's actually the best thing for us, yeah.
And you know we have a praise kink, so come on.
Yeah.
Like,
please.
Give us some praise.
Come on, baby. We really hope you've loved this episode. Please, if you can, follow us on Instagram for all of the updates. We update and post stories pretty much every single day, maybe every other day. And that would be @ComeCurious, as well as our personal accounts, Reed Amber X and Florence Bark.
You know, support us over on Patreon. That always means so much to us. Just donate, you know, £1, $1, whatever you can. And until next week, see you next Thursday, Curious Fuckers.
See you next Thursday. Mwah.
Bye.